Hi, I'm Samantha Biddy, sexual health and consent educator. And as you can see, it is so hot and so sweaty, and I can't think of a better topic for this week's Biddy Bits than how to have a fulfilling and sustainable casual sex relationship. You may have noticed I said casual relationship, not relationships. We are still in a global health crisis pandemic, and the recommendations are still that we limit our number of sex partners to the best of our ability. Don't get it twisted. I miss host shit more than anybody else, but what we know about coronavirus is that it is easily transmittable through a lot of the activities that are commonly found at sex, like kissing and eating ass. So we want to make sure that we're communicating with partners around risks as it relates to coronavirus. All that said, maybe you're still someone who just got out of quarantine and you're like, you know what, I'm super busy with the revolution, so I only really have time for a little smashy. You may not have the resources to commit to something that is any more than casual. I would like to offer my tips, just a few high-level points about how to have fulfilling and, as again I said, sustainable casual sex relationship. One of the common misconceptions that I run into often is that people hear the word casual and they think it means no effort or like no energy. And that's just not the case. There are many different kinds of relationships. As soon as we're interacting with another person, that's a relationship, and they all require different kinds of energy or attitudes or actions and all those sorts of things. So get super comfortable with the word relationship. A casual relationship is not the solution to I have no time, I have no energy, and I'm looking to fill this like horny or emotional void. That is not what a casual relationship is for. That is what therapy is for. Once you've practiced the self-awareness to be present to what it is that you have to give to others and what it is that you're looking for, I want to talk about the ways to use those resources wisely and compassionately. Before we jump in, I just want to make sure that everyone realizes how snatched I actually look. I've been staring at these lights for a while. It might be washed out, but like, she is so laid, and this wet look I dedicate to my dear friend Paul, who lives for a wet look. There are two sides to this. There's like the internal work that you can be doing, and then there's the external work that you need to do, like the types of outward actions you can do to ensure that everybody's having a nice time. I am not gonna focus on how to find a casual sex partner. Let's start with the internal stuff. Some of the things I've already mentioned. Also, I encourage you to develop a practice of checking in with yourself about how those things change, because our availability emotionally, spiritually, physically can change based on a lot of external forces in our life. What you were available for today might not be the same as what you're available for in a week or a month or 3 months from now. And knowing what you have to give and what you're looking for will help you to keep track of whether it is fulfilling for you or what needs to change in order for that to be the case. All of that information is going to allow you to be compassionate with yourself as well as another person. One of the most important things about any of our relationships, not least of which is a casual sex relationship, is practicing seeing others as whole. Nothing will destroy a casual sex relationship faster than viewing another person as though they are your personal sex toy. That person is a whole ass person. They've got their own emotions, their own spiritual journey, their own stuff going on in their lives. They have their own schedule. We're gonna talk about scheduling in a sec. You will also feel much more contented if you're seen as whole. But blah, 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 blah. Practicing emotional intelligence being my first things first is no surprise. Every video is like this. Let's talk about the actual actionable things that you can be doing to keep a casual sex partner contented and coming back for more. Let's say you have entered into a communique with someone who is also interested in a casual sex relationship. The first thing you want to do is establish what that means to both of you and to communicate what your boundaries might be. Maybe for you, it means having dates but no sleepovers. Maybe it means having no dates but sleepovers, that sort of thing. Sometimes in casual relationships, it can feel like we aren't a priority to our partners, or that we can't ask for more, or what it is that we need. But oftentimes in casual relationships, it's more so about the quality than the quantity. We have to learn how to make our partners feel wanted. And not just when we're getting down and like doing all this stuff where it's like physically, emotionally, I can sense you and I know what's happening. It's in the times that we're apart. And depending on what that person's love language is or how they interpret affection, it could be really as simple as sending a text being like, I'm super hard thinking about you, or I can't wait to see you. I think the barrier to effectively making our partners feel wanted is that people are super afraid of having feelings or being too affectionate because they don't want it to be misinterpreted as wanting more. Please watch my video on how to avoid catching feelings for my friends with benefits. My ideal world is where people aren't afraid of feelings or affection in sex relationships, no matter how serious or casual they are. We're always trying to protect ourselves, and I totally get it. I want to remind you that sex and relationships can be such an amazing site of exploration. And if we're closing ourselves off or we're not being present, we're really losing out on an opportunity for some really exciting, transformative shit. Schedule plans. Schedule plans. Schedule plans. If you say to someone, I can't wait to see you, period. When, dog? When are you seeing me? It could be a month from then, it could be 2 years, but set a timeline and make plans. Nothing makes the pussy drier, and by pussy I mean whatever your horny parts are. Nothing makes the pussy drier than feeling like you're an afterthought, or like you're disposable, or you're like a last minute kind of moment. As far as I understand, the purpose of having partnered sex or a relationship with somebody else is to stay wet alongside everything else that's important in your life. So make it a priority. Maybe you have to rearrange a few things to align with that person's schedule. Or maybe you need to send that extra text that's going to make that person feel valued and feel seen. And that is an investment into the length and development of that arrangement. The last thing I'll say is kind of the intersection of where those like internal and external actions meet. Be honest. Be honest with yourself about what you're thinking and feeling and available for, and be honest with the other person about all those things too. Because not only is it super critical to your own contentment, but it is also integral to having consensual relationships. We need to be able to make informed decisions about the types of partnerships that we're having, the types of activities that we're having. We should also be equipped to be honest about safer sex type stuff, not only in a global health crisis pandemic where we're all trying to practice different ways of keeping ourselves and each other safe. We also want to show up to our agreements with others. You might have to let your casual partner know, like if you fluid bonded with somebody, even by accident, in the moment, so that they can make an informed decision about the ways they're participating with you. Once you establish that kind of openness and willingness to have things change, that is going to be the thing that makes your relationship able to wayfare through all the things that this fucked up reality that we're all living in can throw at us. I want to conclude with the acknowledgement that we are in a revolution, y'all, and that is not just the fight against the systems and institutions that are outside of us. It is also that fight against the way that those systems and institutions exist inside of us. We get to self-determine what our relationships look like, what our feelings make space for us to do. And we have gotten to, I think, like a much better place as it relates to consent culture and finding the ways that we can communicate to keep each other safer in a physical way with sexual health. But I want us to keep that same energy and apply it to keeping each other safer with our emotional and mental and spiritual health as it relates to our sex and sexual relationships. And we're gonna do that by showing up. Show up to yourself, show up to the people that you're fucking, and let it be that anything is possible. That's it for this week's Bitty Bits. You can submit your questions to me on my website, www.smaththebitty.com, or on Instagram. Send me a DM at Smith_Bitty, and just take care. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other.